week 1 in Thailand. So I'm not really sure how I'll do the vlogs, but this time we just get a voiceover and some background music. So the week started on Tuesday. We departed from T2. I'm gonna take a mandatory video of the waterfall. We had my last Singapore breakfast in a while. Some kaya toast from Hainan Story. It was pretty okay. The name of the kaya was like a gula melaka, some sort of, I don't know. There was a very fancy name to it. Can't really remember the name right now. We also bought chwee kueh that was surprisingly hot. It was hotter than it looks. Almost burnt our tongue. Yeah, look at Jinger's face. To anyone with a shellfish allergy out there is dried shrimp in the topping, so if you want to try this out, just don't eat the topping, I guess, but that would kind of defeat the purpose of the food. Jinger's drank a hot teh C because they ran out of iced lemon tea. Sad for me. To anyone that's going for cab and you're coming from Singapore, I highly suggest taking a full service carrier since you'll probably need the baggage. If you book early enough, you'll get it at a good price. Thankfully, I was able to opt for a gluten-free meal. I've been trying to cut down on gluten, dairy and sugar since treatment will be soon, and I wanted to remove as many itch factors as I can. I'm already so itchy. My meal was chicken with rice that came with peas and cauliflower. And whoa, the box was so hot. I also received a gluten-free roll, but sadly it wasn't heated up, so it was a crumbly, cold mess. Also tried the vegan butter, but it wasn't that tasty. I'm not super sure what type of cake this was, but it was very sugary and the cinnamon flavor was pretty strong. It didn't really pair well with the whole dish. So once we landed in Thailand, we actually booked a car a day prior to landing, and I'm super glad we did that because we touched down at about 3 p.m. local time, which did miss the Bangkok jam, but because of the air quality, we actually sort of skipped the waiting for a Grab and we were able to just get in the car and get out of the airport as quick as we could. Here's a quick apartment tour. I won't be using the bed sheets. I brought my own, but I did the stupid thing of not checking what size the bed was, and I just assumed it was a queen size bed and it turned out to be king, so that was a funny error on my end. So we had to look for bed sheets the next day. But anyway, I took a nap while Jingers cleaned the whole apartment and unpacked. Thank you, Jingers. We went out for dinner at a nearby mall and we passed a little night market, and this is what they had. We bought 2 skewers of 2 different types of meats and had a quick meal of chicken and rice while Jingers had pad krapao. Of course, not spicy. We were rushing because the shops closed at 9 and it was already 7 p.m. and we had a few things to look for, especially the bed sheets. Unfortunately, we weren't able to find it, so we went to Tops, a grocery store. We bought some organic and fragrance-free cleaning supplies that we needed. It's actually best to use hot water to clean while doing cat therapy, but we weren't that strict on that before the information that we learned in a few days' time, which I'll share in a bit. I was so amazed by the selection that they had. And fun fact, this particular Meiji milk actually comes from Thailand, so if you were to actually look for it overseas and search like Japanese Meiji milk, you won't be able to find it. Also didn't know that there was a Heinz brand of oyster sauce. Say what? And what I'm most excited about was to actually find my favorite brand of milk. So I've been drinking this almond milk for quite a while now. Sadly, the price isn't that different from Singapore. If you're looking for an alternative milk, especially one that's not oat milk. Day 2, we went to a local hypermart because we gotta fix my mistake of not finding the right bed sheets. We got some tissues, a laundry basket, and we had mookata for lunch. I've been craving it for so long. Thank you, Neo, for the treat. We went back to the apartment, Jingers did more cleaning, and then we took a nap. We were pretty drained from the day before. On day 3, we went to central Bangkok and we met Jingers' Thai friend. Thank you so much for the meal. Here are some pictures because I didn't want to shove a camera in her face. She brought us to drink this amazing Thai tea. This tastes really different from the usual Thai tea that I've drank. And I had a soy milk version, of course, while Jingers had the slushy, and they're pretty known for the slushy. We had a pomelo salad, and I know it looks red and spicy, but I promise you it was actually really sweet and really nice. Everything was so well balanced. We also had 2 other dishes that looked kind of spicy but weren't, as well as rice and a soup. She was really nice and accommodative because, you know, my diet doesn't have any shellfish, while a lot of Thai food has a lot. So I'm so grateful that she was nice enough to accommodate to me. She also brought us to buy some banana cakes that were famous. My favorite was actually the Nutella one. The Nutella and cheese one, sadly it's pretty sweet, so I couldn't eat too much. The dark chocolate one was quite nice, but didn't have as much chocolate as I expected. But the mouthfeel of the wholemeal flour is actually quite nice. And it's day 4 in Bangkok. I took some pictures in the morning before my treatment because that's what the clinic wanted. They wanted to see if my skin was reacting to the apartment, which gladly it wasn't. And I'm pretty sure the humidity in Thailand has a lot to do with it as well.
Trigger warning: raw wounds, dry or cracked skin.
So here's my face, my chin and my neck. It's still pretty red and itchy. I did not realize that my back was so dry, and I've learned that the little dots on my back are called protein deposits. Here's the back of my neck, my legs and my hands. Hey everyone, please don't mind the look I have. It's a little bit cold, so here's my blanket. And I also learned that breaking up my sleep isn't too bad. As long as I get 8 hours of sleep, that's what's best for me, and that would help my skin the most right now. So I don't have to force myself to sleep anymore, which is something I'm really happy about. The treatment itself was completely painless. I really wasn't expecting it to be that painless. How I would best describe it is like a warm finger going all over your body, and at woozy areas it just feels a little bit zappy. It's not painful, but it is shocking in terms of like how you're having a chill time with the wand on your body, kind of relax, and then like, oh, just feels a bit like a little bit of a shock. When I was using my home cap machine, it was really painful, and that's why I had so much anxiety leading up to the day of cap, because I could still remember the pain that the machine I used inflicted on me. I'm super glad that the actual cap machine that's made by Jay and his father-in-law isn't painful at all. I really don't suggest using that home cap machine to anyone. It's pretty painful, honestly, and especially on your wounds. Even when you run it on yourself, and if someone else touches you, you'll get a shock. On a funny side note, when I was doing the therapy, Jingers was beside me, so we were actually pretty chill, but at one point she kind of like touched me, and that's why the therapist who's doing it uses a handkerchief to hold my hand, because if not she would get a shock. The whole process itself was pretty chill, and after the treatment they tell you how to take care of yourself. And because I only shower once a day, it's very important for me to continue doing my saline washes every time I wake up, and to use the antibiotic ointment. Since I have quite a bit of infections on my body, they suggested that I go back on oral antibiotics. So I'm on a course for 14 days again, and I take them 4 times a day. This time is different because in Singapore, usually when they dose antibiotics, it's usually 2 pills and 3 times a day. This is the first time I'm taking 1 pill 4 times a day. They also suggested that I try Physiogel again after the treatment, because Physiogel actually contains parabens, so my skin might be sensitive to it. Jingle just decided that I should just get the house brand shower gel to eliminate that potential factor. I just did the treatment. I don't know if you can tell about my eyes. They're like kind of swollen-ish. Thanks for getting the stuff! For the whole day, I've been feeling kind of itchy. I've been having nervous itch throughout the day. The whole lecture session was pretty long, and sadly Jay wasn't there. This is my skin after the treatment, and this is still the day off. You can actually notice a lot of the redness disappearing, and that surprised me a lot. Today will be day 2. It's actually nighttime that I'm filming this because I'm the itchiest at night and I want to try and eliminate my nighttime itching as much as I can. So here I am filming the video, and I also have to update you guys every week. That is something I'll keep doing. As I promised, here is my expense for the week. Other than those things that I learned at the clinic, the most important takeaway is that because I have hardened skin, my treatment plan is a little longer, so I'm expected to go back to so-called normal skin after 16 to 24 treatments. Once my skin goes back to normal, I actually need to take care of myself a lot more, because once that hardened skin drops, the skin will be a lot more vulnerable to irritants. It will be a lot more sensitive than before, because currently I'm having hardened skin. It is what has been protecting my body the whole time, and once this sheds off, I would be way more vulnerable and way more sensitive. So after the 4 months, I have to be a lot more careful. Like when I meet my friends, if people come and visit me, I have to just be a lot more wary, especially when I go out as well. Can't go out for too long. When I come home, I have to shower immediately. What I learned from the clinic is that if I were to heal naturally, it would have taken me almost about 14 to 15 years. How they calculate and how they get a number is that for every 1 kilo of steroids used, it would take 27 years to recover naturally. They make sure that they highlight to you that CAP only accelerates the process of healing, but it does not completely cure you or heal you completely. Another thing to add, when I always hear about sea sun exposure, I always thought that it just means that I will need to soak in the sea and then be out in the sun for a bit. But what sea sun exposure really means is that the sea needs to be with the sun, so that combo of the sea and the sun is what's going to help you. I don't know why I had this impression that it was something that didn't require the sun to touch the water, if you know what I mean. So the sun touching the water and that being on your skin for about 30 minutes is what is going to help the fungus on your body die. If you were to go through the route of sea and sun exposure, you will need to do it 3 times a week, every week for about a year, to fully get rid of the fungus. Another way would be to take oral antifungals, but that would require you to go back to the doctor after every round to check if your liver is affected. After Dr. Toto checked my body, he concluded that my body is very fungal and it does have some bacterial infections, but it's mostly fungal. So the way he sees it is actually, you see the border of redness on my hands. The raised area is actually signs that it is fungal because the body is trying to push out the fungus. So then you can see a clear border of whiteness and redness. He also told me that my scalp is really unhealthy, which I kind of knew, but I didn't know that the treatment would hurt so much on my head, meaning that I do have quite a bit of wounds up there, and the skin is pretty thin on top as well. Just note that I didn't use steroids on my head for a long time. If you want to use steroids on your head, just remember this, that even though I thought it wouldn't really affect me, my head is pretty heavily affected. Learning that after the treatment, after the hardened skin drops off and my skin would be much more vulnerable, we are also trying to be more careful with detergents, soaps. So anyone who's in the house or is around me, like Jingers, she would use Physiogel just to remove the possibility of it being an irritant. And now with all the knowledge that we know about cleaning supplies being too strong for TSW skin, especially after CAP treatment, we will not be using any detergent as of now, and we'll be washing my clothes in very hot water. No more detergent. We were actually using detergent before, a fragrance-free one, but they actually suggest that I stop due to how sensitive my skin still looks. So we're just gonna eliminate as much as we can, and hopefully I see more healing as time comes. If you guys want to stay updated, I do post daily on TikTok, don't forget that. If you have any questions about CAP therapy, or if you're thinking of coming, you can actually drop me a DM or leave me a comment down below. If you have any questions about the treatment itself, I'll be happy to help you ask the clinic and get back to you on it, because if we all learn from this, we all benefit and we can all heal together. So I'll see you guys next week. I don't think I'll do much vlogs because I won't be going out. I realized that things aren't that cheap here, especially food. Food is not that much cheaper than Singapore, so I'll be staying home quite a bit, and I'll update you guys again next week. See you. Happy healing. Happy Chinese New Year, everybody, and thank you. Thank you.